Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. As you can see in my hands here, I have the D3300. This is the Nikon D3300. And it may seem kind of funny for me to be talking about the D3300 right now with the new news and advent of the D5 and D500, the recent announcements from Nikon, especially the D500, the flagship. But this is still an amazingly capable little camera for a very small investment of money. I think you can get these for like $399, even less as refurbs and used and whatnot. This has a higher resolution sensor than the new D500 does. This is 24 megapixels, same as its bigger brothers, the D5500, the D7200. This is a very relevant camera. If you are looking to get into photography and you're looking for an entry-level camera, this camera doesn't have some of the high-end features of the other cameras, but the imaging sensor is as capable as the rest of them. 24 megapixels of very good performing goodness. Let me go through here what I just want to deliver kind of my final review. I've been shooting with this. I've had it here for a while now, and I've done a fair bit of work with it just to see. And it's got the 18-55 on it VR, which is a very capable little lens. I made some notes here. So I always like to have some summary notes for you so I don't forget things when I'm doing a final review. So basically, as I said, it's Nikon's. It's been out for a bit. I think August. It was announced January 7th. 2014. So it's been out for a little bit. I guess a year. For some reason I had in my head that was. Oh no. I'm losing track that this is 2016. So that's 2 years. 2 years. So that's about what I thought it was. This is still, even though it's 2 years old, a very relevant camera in the sense of the sensors. 24 megapixels. Canon just got there recently with the T6i and T6s. And this sensor outperforms them. So it outperforms Canon's higher level cameras than this. So super high image quality, and it's a very small and light package. You know, if you're looking for something to shoot primes on, you might want to look at this because some primes on there. It's a fun camera, and maybe I should do a few more videos on that too, or a few more articles on shooting some older manual focus primes and using this as it, because you can use the rangefinder feature there and dial it in manually. It helps you. It's a focus aid. It doesn't have focus peaking, but it does have that rangefinder feature. It was Nikon's lightest DSLR when it came out. It's at 460 grams, but then the D5500 came out after it, and it's only 420 grams, which kind of rocks the boat in the evolution of DSLRs, because typically this series was always the lightest, and now the D5500 with its carbon fiber type body, which inherits from the D750, is very light and a very strong, very rugged, very beautiful little body. It's very quiet to shoot. It's a great candid shooter because of that. It's small, light, and quiet. It may not be as fast as some of the other bodies, with the advancements in the autofocus systems, for instance. Well, definitely the new D5 and D500 with their crazy new, 153 autofocus points, 99 cross types. But most of the time, it locks on. You wouldn't notice the difference. Fast and accurate. It's only in extreme situations like tracking and things like that where you're going to see the higher end camera better. As a matter of fact, in decent light with the center focus point, which is what most people shoot with most of the time, or even if you're letting the camera track, you're not really going to notice the difference. It's still a very strong, capable autofocus system. So while it doesn't have the flagship autofocus, the flagship D500, or even the better system that was the flagship in the D7200, it's still a very capable autofocus system. So don't be worried about that. What do we have up next? The ISO range is decent. It's 100 to 12,008. It's expandable to 25,006 at high 2. So that's pretty good. Even 12,800 looks pretty decent. It's not something you're going to want to do color prints with. Certainly all right online. And if you're shooting it to black and white, very usable. Let's see. Next up we have shooting speed. It's 5 frames per second. 5 frames per second is pretty good for a camera of this caliber. I think the previous one was 4. So 5 frames per second is decent. most people, especially most people in an entry-level camera, are not going to have a problem with that. So it's pretty good. I'm not going to knock it for that at all. The AF system, as I mentioned, has 11 focus points, so it's a less advanced autofocus system than the higher up ones, but still very decent. It has 11 points, and it's fast and it's accurate and it's quite quiet. It's limited by your lenses. Like the 18 to 55 is going to be slower to focus than if I throw on the 50 f1.8 AFG on there. That's going to make it focus a lot faster because it gathers more light, but it's still decent. And in my experience shooting it, I don't really have any problems with it. Especially like in compared to the D5500, I don't notice a lot of difference. Even say the 610. So again, just it's a pretty competent autofocus system. The finder in it, the Viewfinder, it uses a pentamirror, a lightweight pentamirror. It's 95% coverage, 95% coverage, sorry, 0.85 times magnification. So that's a little less than, say, your D7200 or your D5500 or your 610 or your higher bodies like that. But it's still decent. It's still very decent for an entry-level camera at this price range. I wouldn't shy away from it for that. The metering, it's 3D Color Matrix Meter 2. That's the system, 420 RGB pixels, and it works very well. I haven't seen any situations where it's not metering nicely. I should qualify that by saying no situations where it's not metering nicely that any of the other bodies wouldn't maybe have a problem with, like in mixed tungsten or vapor lighting or whatever, you get into some really weird lighting. Like I even find CFL bulb lighting, a lot of cameras have an issue with that. And it might have a problem with that there, but for the most part, very nice color metering and exposure metering. Auto ISO, it's got that feature. Little low end camera has auto ISO. I know a lot of cameras didn't have that for a long time. I don't even remember where the Canon line starts with auto ISO now, but I'm not sure. I don't remember, but the fact that this has it is kudos to Nikon. Basically, you set it to auto ISO, you tell it what your minimum shutter speed is, and it will walk the ISO up, keeping your shutter speed from having to be increased. So you can use the lowest shutter speed possible and walk the ISO up automatically. So it's just another auto function, but I like it. A lot of shooters like auto ISO, and it's a nice feature to have. Next up, auto distortion correction. It will fix any distortion in lenses in the body. That's pretty cool. Now the caveat there is that they have to be AFD or G lenses. But it does it and it works well. So you don't have to worry about it. It works better than, for instance, like the Canon 5D Mark III's system. This little D3300 that you can get for under $400, it does it better. It's really easy to turn on. You go into the menu, shooting menu, and then auto distortion control and set it to on. The default is apparently off. I'm not sure why they wouldn't have the default as on because it's an awesome feature. But yeah, it works great. Built-in flash, guide number's 39/12. That's feet and meters at ISO 100. It doesn't control wireless flash like some of its bigger brothers. That's a caveat. But then you can't have everything in an entry-level camera. Shutter speed's rated at 1 to 4,000. I didn't really, in what I was using it for, I didn't really run into a wall or notice that as a problem. But it could be. Sometimes there's situations where you'll want the higher 1 to 8,000. But again, it's decent for an entry-level camera. The video is good, 1080p. But the same caveat as most DSLRs, other than say the Canon 70D or T6i, it does not. The AF is noisy, and you can hear it clicking as it follows in video, and it doesn't. It's not quick and fast and like a camcorder, so it's not smooth. So but it's good video quality. It's H.264, 1080p. The one caveat is the audio is mono on this, so that's something you get. You go to stereo in the more advanced models. But that's what I would say about the video. It's decent. It's not as good as the advanced models, but it has 1080p, and it's okay. The LCD is really good. It's a 3-inch, 921,000 dots, a 4:3 aspect ratio, and it's pretty much on par with most LCDs out there. Some of the newer ones, like I think the D500 and the D5 now are coming out with like 2.4 million dot LCDs, but this one, up until now, has been competitive and decent. The battery is an EN EL14A. It's a smaller battery. I'm sure you've probably seen this. Maybe you haven't. I think I've shown it to you before on here, but it's a little battery. But I've never run into a problem with the D300's battery life giving out on me. It's like the Energizer Bunny. It just seems to keep going and going and going. So I don't have any complaints with the battery life on here. It's rated at 540 shots. I don't ever remember anything I've been using it for. Now, granted, I haven't been using it for a full pro day, like a professional full day shoot or anything. But I also have never noticed the battery being a problem for me. So it's decent, very decent. You can get, some Wasabi power batteries for a very good price too for this. You can get 2 with a charger for like $20 or $25. I'll put a link below for that if you're interested. Another thing I should notice or I should mention is that the charger that it comes with, that's the MH24. It's a nice travel charger, so it doesn't have the cord. It just has the fold-out plug, which is the way I like them. So there's no cord to worry about. You just fold the plug out, stick it in the wall, and then it folds back in. It's great. The battery gauge on here is only a 3-section battery gauge, so it's not as good as some of the more detailed battery gauges. Like you kind of, this thing's you kind of know you're on half-life and then you failed. So that's one caveat. But again, these are things you get in a better level camera. As I mentioned, the battery just seems to last forever, and it's small and light. The only camera I think that it's not lighter than is the D5500, and that was because it has that high-tech carbon fiber frame. So, in a nutshell, great entry-level camera. I think I've seen this. I think I just posted that this was $499 with 2 lenses and a camera bag. I think it was the 18 to 55, which is on here, and the 55 to 200 plus a Nikon camera bag. That's a pretty hard deal to beat. This is, top of class quality. I mean, you get 24 megapixel, excellent performing sensor. And you get all that with 2 lenses of camera bag for $500. I'll see if I can put that link below for you too. But that's basically my review. It's a very nice, very decent little camera. I highly recommend this. You could, quite conceivably, because, this has advanced a lot since some of the earlier DSLRs. You could comfortably shoot professionally with a pair of these. I know a lot of people are going to scream and yell that no, you couldn't. But if you're a professional and you know what you're doing, yes, you could. Especially if you have the right lens choices. You put a couple of fast primes on here, and you could shoot a wedding. Small and light, excellent image quality, great high ISO performance. Why couldn't you? A few extra batteries in your pocket because they might be a little smaller on a full day shoot, but they're cheap. And it's small and light, so you're not going to break your back or your wrists or anything like that. But anyways, I give that 2 thumbs up because for what it offers at this price, it's unbeatable. Certainly better than Canon's offering at this price level. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you have any questions about the review, the final review here, and what I've gone over? I still have to get some more of the image galleries that I've shot with this up online, so I'll see if I can get that done too. But I wanted to get this review out to you because it's been a long time coming. Anyways, leave some comments below. Let's discuss the D3300. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon here at artofimage.com.